There's this moment in the 80s and 90s cinema where skateboarding stopped being just a prop and became something else entirely. It became a visual language for freedom, for rebellion, for youth pushing back against the world. Directors figured out that you didn't need dialogue to show a character was cool, was rebellious, was different. You just put them on a skateboard, and suddenly, everything about them changed. From Marty McFly improvising an escape to Jackie Chan turning a skateboard into a weapon, Hollywood fell in love with skateboarding. Not because they understood the culture, most of them didn't, but because it looked incredible on screen. So today, we're talking about how skateboarding took over the movies. The scenes that defined an era. The moments that made kids around the world want to grab a board. And the one film that actually got it right. Let's start with the scene that changed everything. You know the scene. Marty McFly grabs the back of a car, rips a scooter in half, and suddenly he's skating through 1955 on a makeshift skateboard. And the whole town stops to watch. Here's why this scene matters. Marty didn't plan this. He improvised. He took something ordinary, a kid's scooter, and turned it into something useful, something cool, something that gave him an edge. And that's what skateboarding represented in the 80s. Innovation, improvisation, taking the world around you and using it in ways nobody expected. Watch how the 1950s characters react. They've never seen anything like this. The skateboard becomes a symbol of the future, literally. It's youth, it's progress, it's everything the conservative 1950s isn't ready for. And Robert Zemeckis understood this. He didn't need to explain skateboarding. He just showed it. And in that moment, skateboarding became the visual shorthand for, this kid is from the future. That one scene put skateboarding into the cultural consciousness in a way nothing else had. Kids who had never touched a skateboard suddenly wanted one. Because if Marty McFly could escape bullies on a skateboard, maybe they could too. Back to the Future didn't invent skateboarding in movies, but it made skateboarding iconic, and everything that came after owes something to that scene. And then there's Thrashin. If Gleaming the Cube tried to show real skate culture, Thrashin got there first. Josh Brolin plays Corey Webster, a skater from the Valley who moves to LA and gets caught up in the rivalry between two skate gangs, the Daggers and the Ramp Locals. What makes Thrashin special is that they hired real pro skaters. Tony Alva, Tony Hawk, Steve Caballero, Christian Hosoi, they're all in this movie. The skating you see on screen is legitimate. These aren't actors pretending to skate, these are legends doing what they do best, and the movie understood something crucial about mid-80s skate culture. Thrashin showed that skateboarding wasn't just a hobby, it was an identity, a way of life. The joust scene, where skaters race downhill through LA traffic while fighting each other, is absolutely insane. It's dangerous, it's illegal, and it's everything skateboarding was in the 80s. No rules, no safety, just pure adrenaline. The soundtrack was the Red Hot Chili Peppers before they were huge. The fashion was peak 80s skate style. The energy was raw and unfiltered. Thrashin captured a moment in skateboarding history that would never exist again. Did it succeed commercially? Not really, but among skaters, Thrashin became a cult classic. Because it showed their world, not Hollywood's version of it, the actual thing. If you want to understand what skateboarding meant in the mid-80s, the culture, the attitude, the community, Thrashin is essential viewing. It's not the best movie ever made, but it's one of the most authentic skateboarding films Hollywood ever produced. 2 years after Back to the Future, Police Academy 4 did something interesting with skateboarding. They made skaters part of the good guys, sort of. David Spade, in his very first film role, plays Kyle, one of a group of skateboarding guys causing chaos in shopping malls. After they're arrested, Sergeant Mahoney convinces the judge to give them an alternative to jail. Join the Citizens on Patrol program. What makes this movie notable is who was doing the skateboarding. Tony Hawk was David Spade's stunt double. And the other skateboard stunts, Tommy Guerrero, Lance Mountain, Mike McGill, Chris Miller, and Steve Caballero. Real pros doing real tricks. There's a chase scene where the skaters use their street skills to help the police pursue criminals. Weaving through traffic, jumping obstacles, using the urban environment exactly like real street skaters did. And for once, skateboarding wasn't portrayed as purely rebellious. It was useful. It was a skill. For 1987, that was kind of radical. Most movies still portrayed skaters as troublemakers, or rebels. But Police Academy 4 showed skaters as capable people with real abilities. Sure, they started as delinquents, but their skateboarding skills made them valuable. The movie is pure 80s comedy. Goofy, over the top, not meant to be taken seriously. But having legitimate pro skaters doing the stunts gave those scenes credibility. You could tell the difference between actors pretending to skate and pros actually doing it. Police Academy 4 didn't change cinema, but it showed that Hollywood was starting to see skaters differently. Not just as symbols of rebellion, but as people with legitimate skills that could be put to good use. And that shift mattered. And then 4 years later, Hollywood tried to make a real skateboarding movie, Gleaming the Cube, starring Christian Slater as a skater investigating his brother's murder. They hired actual pro skaters. Tony Hawk was in this movie. So was Mike McGill, Tommy Guerrero, Rodney Mullen, and a bunch of other legends, and when you watch the skate scenes, you can tell. These aren't actors pretending to skate. These are real skaters doing real tricks. There's a scene where Christian Slater's character skates through a construction site, and it's shot like an action sequence. Fast cuts, aggressive music, real danger. It's not polished, it's not pretty, it's raw. And that's what made it different. Gleaming the Cube was the first movie that tried to show skateboarding as it actually was. Not as a gimmick, but as a lifestyle, a culture, a way of seeing the world. Did it succeed? Partly. The skateboarding community respected it because the skating was legitimate. But mainstream audiences didn't really get it. The movie flopped at the box office. But here's what matters. Gleaming the Cube proved that skateboarding could carry a film, that there was an audience for authentic skate culture. And even though the movie failed commercially, it became a cult classic among skaters, because skaters recognized themselves in it. And that's rare in Hollywood. Now let's talk about the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie from 1990, because this movie has not one, but two skateboarding scenes that captured what skate culture actually looked like in the late 80s and early 90s. First, there's Donatello in the sewers. He's cruising through these concrete tunnels like they're quarter pipes, doing flat ground tricks, just casually skating through the underground. It's brief, but it's real. You can tell they had someone who actually skated help choreograph it. But the real scene, that's the Foot Clan headquarters, and this is where the movie gets it right. Picture this, an abandoned warehouse, skate ramps everywhere, but not a clean skate park. It's DIY, it's chaotic. There are kids skating in between pool tables, arcade machines, and hanging out. It's half skate spot, half youth clubhouse, and it feels authentic. The Foot Clan headquarters is basically every underground skate spot that existed in the late 80s. Before City Hunter, there was Wheels on Meals. This is Jackie Chan's earliest skateboarding scene, and it might be the most creative one. Jackie and Yuen Biao play food truck operators in Barcelona, and in one sequence, they're using skateboards to deliver food. Not as a stunt, not as a weapon, just as a practical tool to move fast through the city. What's brilliant about this is how natural it feels. They're not showing off. They're working. The skateboard is just another piece of equipment like their food cart. And Jackie, being Jackie, finds ways to make even mundane delivery runs look dynamic and fun. There's this casual creativity to how they move. Skating with food trays, dodging pedestrians, using the board to navigate tight spaces. It's not about big tricks or dramatic stunts. It's about efficiency and movement. Wheels on Meals came out in 1984. The same year skateboarding was having its first major boom. And this movie understood something that most Hollywood films missed. Skateboards aren't just toys. They're transportation. They're practical. They're useful. Jackie Chan always had this gift for finding the potential in everyday objects. And in Wheels on Meals, he showed that a skateboard could be just as practical as it was cool. That's a different kind of respect for the board than most movies showed. And then there's City Hunter, another Jackie Chan film. In this one, Jackie's character is chasing someone through a shopping mall. He grabs a skateboard, and what follows is this chaotic, comedic chase sequence where he's dodging shoppers, jumping over obstacles, and generally causing mayhem. It's not realistic, it's not trying to be. City Hunter is a live-action anime adaptation, and it embraces that absurdity completely. The skateboard becomes just another tool in Jackie's arsenal of controlled chaos. But here's what's interesting. These Hong Kong action films understood something that most American movies didn't. Skateboarding is cinematic. The movement is dynamic. The speed is thrilling. The tricks are visual gold. Hollywood kept trying to make skateboarding cool through attitude and style. But Jackie Chan made it cool through pure physical creativity. He showed that you didn't need to understand skate culture to understand that a skateboard in motion is inherently exciting to watch, and that skateboard sequence, it works. Because Jackie Chan understood movement better than almost anyone in cinema. And sometimes, that's all you need. So why did all of this matter? Why did skateboarding become such a powerful visual tool in the 80s and 90s cinema? Because skateboarding represented something that was hard to put into words but easy to show on screen. Freedom, youth, rebellion, innovation, adaptability. All of these things were baked into the act of skating. When a character got on a skateboard, you immediately understood something about them. They didn't follow the rules. They saw the world differently. They moved through space in ways that other people didn't. And directors loved that because you can communicate so much without dialogue. One shot of a character skating tells you more about them than 5 minutes of exposition. But here's the interesting thing. Most of these movies approached skateboarding in completely different ways. Jackie Chan saw it as a practical tool, something useful in Wheels on Meals, something dangerous in Police Story. Back to the Future made it a symbol of youth and innovation. The first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie showed it as authentic youth culture. And Gleaming the Cube tried to show the real thing. None of them had the complete picture. But together, they showed different facets of what skateboarding meant: utility, freedom, community, rebellion, style. And even though most of these movies got skateboarding wrong in some way, they got something important right. They showed it. They put it on screen for millions of people to see, and that exposure mattered. Because those movies, ridiculous as some of them were, made millions of kids want to try skateboarding. And some of those kids stuck with it. And some of them became the legends we talk about today. The first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie showed kids that skateboarding was part of a culture, a community. Gleaming the Cube showed them it could be authentic and real. Jackie Chan showed them it could be creative and practical. And Back to the Future showed them it could be iconic. So maybe Hollywood didn't fully understand skateboarding, but they understood that it was worth showing. And in the end, that's what mattered. So, skateboarding in movies was never about authenticity. It was about capturing a feeling, a moment, a way of moving through the world that felt different from everything else. From Jackie Chan's practical food delivery and Wheels on Meals, to Marty McFly's improvised escape, from the authentic DIY culture of the Foot Clan headquarters to Gleaming the Cube's attempt at the real thing, skateboarding became the visual language of youth and freedom in the 80s and 90s cinema. And even though most of these movies approached it differently, they all understood one thing. Skateboarding looked incredible on screen, and that was enough to inspire a generation. So which movie had your favorite skateboarding scene? Did we miss any classics? Drop a comment and let us know. And if you want more deep dives into retro cinema and skateboarding history, subscribe to both channels. Because sometimes, the best stories are the ones that happen when two worlds collide. And in the 80s and 90s, skateboarding and cinema collided in the best possible way.